share that with your group, and if your group sense that you're not congruent about it, if they sense that you are not very assertive about it, if they sense that you are not completely aligned with it, they're going to say, stop. What are they going to say?
Stop.
I can hear you.
Stop.
That's right. All right. So, for example, Mark and I. So I'm on this team. So my goal is to make $10,000 from passive income, so that I'll be able to travel and help refugees all around the world, and I have a family of my own. What do you think? Pass? Yeah? All right. So, all right, good. I wasn't even trying, but because I really do believe it, right? All right, good. But if I say, well, it's nice to, I really would like to, what do you say?
Stop.
I can hear you. Stop, right? Just automatic. Anytime there's hesitation, you just say stop until you get it right there, clear and crisp. Okay? And each person will stand and in front of the group, and they will state it out loud assertively. And if it's not assertive, they're going to keep repeating it over and over until they're assertive about it. Don't sell out on anybody else. Don't sell out on your son. Don't sell out on your friend. Don't sell out on anybody in your teammate, because we already have a lot of people out there selling out on each other. We don't have this here in this room. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay? You invested time and effort to be here. Let's just be real with each other. No being nice. Okay? We're just going to state it. We're going to assertive about it. And if not, you know what? Maybe this is not for you. And that's okay too. Maybe it's a different goal. Maybe it's a different driving purpose. You'll change it. Okay? But meanwhile, just be really congruent and own it. What's the word, please?
Own it.
Own it. All right, good. So, I'm going to give 2 minutes per person. So we're going to do this with velocity. With what, please? Velocity, because we're going to go outside and we're going to do a process outside. And then we're going to come back and we're going to do a very, 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 very important process that you don't want to miss on. If there's anything that you want to take away from this, is this process that when we come back from outside. So make sure that you're here and present, because that's going to transform your life. That's the way it did with me. All right? Meanwhile, let's just be congruent and assertive about our ultimate driving purpose. Our ultimate driving purpose is, this is like the engine behind everything we do. Everything we do, the way we do anything is the way we do everything. Right? So if our ultimate driving purpose is not congruent, is not clear, then everything else is going to be, wobbly. Does that make sense? But if you're clear, like for example, and you know what, sometimes it's not clear. I'm going to be completely honest with you, which I've always been. And here's the thing. I never thought myself I'm going to be doing this. I told you I got this by accident. And I started my story this morning. I left it open a little bit because, I'm going to complete it at certain times. And maybe this is a time right now. I was doing one of the personal development programs, sitting in your seats right now, right, in a different organization. And I created, out of this program, it was 2.5 days intensive program, I created the possibility that I'll be able to bring this transformative learning to the Middle East where it's needed the most. Right? That's where I'm from Lebanon, as I shared with you this morning. And if there's anywhere on the planet that needs personal development, is there. Where the chaos is. Where everybody's pointing fingers at someone else. At a different country, a different religion, at everybody else, but not themselves. Does that make sense? And that is the one thing that I'm committed to. And this is what, this is my ultimate driving purpose. But I didn't know that at the time, until I sat in your seat going through an exercise that's similar to that. And out of that, I declared it. But I had no idea how this is going to happen. And that's okay too. So if you look at your ultimate driving purpose and you have no idea how this is going to happen, that's great. Because remember, results and growth takes place where? Outside of our comfort zone. It's not inside what we know, it's in the area of we don't know that's what we don't know. Does that make sense? That's where it takes place at. So trust that things are going to align, that's going to get you there. So out of doing this program, what happened was, I have no idea how this is going to happen, I share with you. My sister in Lebanon, she does learning difficulties for children. right? And she created, me and her, we said like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we bring, just the teachers together and like do a mini workshop around how to teach teachers, how to teach children with learning difficulties, using some NLP patterns that I have, using some, skills around super learning and things like that. He's like, yeah, that sounds good. So we started with, I thought we were going to do a small workshop and ended up with 450 people in a big conference room in Beirut, right? Are you with me so far? No idea this is going to happen. It ended up with 450 people. And myself, I haven't spoke in front of 450 people before. The most I spoke in front of like 3 dudes in my living room, okay, talking about relationships and dating. That's the best that I could have done at the time, right? And Mark was one of them, right? So that's the best that I could do. And then what happened was, out of that, I go there, and now someone else wants to be part of this, right? Dr. David Berceli, who created trauma release exercises, he's like, you know what? I want to go there, and I want to talk about trauma release, because in Lebanon, there's a lot of people who are traumatized in the Middle East, right? I mean, everywhere, but specifically there because of all the wars that happened. Does that make sense, everybody? Yes? So he wanted to be part of this, like, okay, let's go. So he goes, I go, and I'm here in front of 450 people, and I'm still vividly imagine all these people in front of me. That image that was in front of me was the same image that I created in one of these workshops as we were going through goal setting. That meditation that we did this morning, where visualize yourself 5 years from today, 1 year from today, see what you're seeing, hear what you're hearing, feel what you're feeling. That is the exact same image. It was so crazy that I got goosebumps every time I talk about it. Because the chairs were burgundy. That's how exact it was. It was amazing, right? Even like the lighting, people like whispering, talking to each other, right? It was just so real that I created this image subconsciously. What's the word, please? Subconsciously, before it even ever happened. Why? Because the subconscious doesn't know what's real and what's imagined. Does that make sense? So we created the reference experience right here, a reference experience, because there are what associated with the reference experience? There has to be what? Emotions, right? Like deep level of emotions that are associated with it. And where would you get your emotions from? Your ultimate. Yes, your ultimate driving purpose. That is your emotions. Anytime you fall off track, anytime you feel, you know what, fuck this, I'm not waking up this morning, I'm tired. I'm just having like, one of those days. Anybody had one of those days before? Just me, right? That's what keeps us going. That's what keeps me going, is I remember that. I remember that. I remember my ultimate driving purpose, and that is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay? And many times I do it for free. And you know what? That's okay, because I feel like if I don't do this, then I'm dying. My soul will be dying. How many of you know what I'm talking about? How many of you feel like you have a message that you want to spread across the world? How many of you feel like you are, that people are counting on you to grow and develop? Yes? Whether through your business, whether through your clients, whether your children. Yes? How many of you know that what I'm talking about here? Yes? So that's why this is so important. Anytime, what's the word? Anytime we feel like we are off that track, that's what's going to bring us back to track. Right? So since then, when I went there, we did the workshops. How do you think it went? It went awesome because it was a great experience. It was the first time I do this, right? We did the workshops, and now what? Nothing else opened out of that over there. This is great to do that, but how am I able to survive? I didn't make any money. I was doing it for free. I told my mom, I'm not coming back to the States. Why am I going to come back to the States? My house is in foreclosure. If I come back, I only have like 30 days. I'm going to be still on the street. I have no job, no way of making income, I have no business, right? So what the heck am I going to come back here for? Here's what she said. Speaking of reframe, you want to see how she reframed it? She said, consider this is the first time you go back to the States, you go to the States. I mean, you've never been to the States before, right now you got an opportunity to go to the States. Would you go? Mothers. Right? It's like, yeah, if you put it this way. So I decided to come. I came back and I reached out to one of my coaches. By the way, if you don't have a coach, get a coach. Okay? How many of you have coaches? You do? Okay. I'm assuming nobody else has coaches. Okay? Get a coach. Get a coach. Okay? Get a coach. Because I don't trust myself for my goals. I don't trust not just myself, I don't trust my little voice in my head. Because my little voice will get me off track. That's why I need a coach. I need a team of people that I surround myself with so that when I'm falling off track, they will kick me in the butt. That's what I need. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Yes? So with that, I came to my coach and I was like, you know what?